I think we have all at some point in our lives had the desire to just get onto a motorcycle and ride into the sunset. After many cold months in the last winter, I felt this desire again. So I got back onto my €500 XJ600 and drove all the way through Italy to Sicily. And all this in the middle of winter. This is the tale of my winter escape. And with that, welcome back to the 3 Miles MC. This story begins in North Germany, where the grip of winter was still strong. After the first 120 kilometers, we reached the Harz National Park. The Harz National Park was still covered in snow and all the roads were still overfrozen, so we had to drive really careful. Here was also our first goal, the Ecker Dam. So we have reached our first little stop on this tour. This gorgeous lake. We're on this amazing dam right here. Oh my god! That is not working well. No fire. So I made it through the snowy part of the Harz National Park. I'll now eat my lunch that I have with me, and I need to figure out where to stay tonight because I'm on the way to Würzburg, but I will not make it to Würzburg, so I will need to find a place before Würzburg. Also, I'm completely wet and freezing, but that is alright. I'd rather be wet than completely overheat, so I'm doing fine so far. So I am now in a cheap hotel close to Erfurt. I needed to call it quits earlier because the visibility was really bad because it was getting dark. And you had this weird kind of rain where you have the just really little raindrops and you only see the taillights of the car in front of you, and also the ventilation on my helmet was not the best. So I constantly had a cloudy visor, so I decided it's probably safer to stay the night here and then try to get out of this shitty weather and try to get somewhere where it's warm tomorrow and try to make some kilometers tomorrow on the Autobahn. On the second day, the temperatures did not improve. It was still around 2 degrees, even though the weather forecast said it should be around 8. The goal of the day was to make it all the way over the Autobahn to North Bavaria and to the romantic road. But the weather was an increasing challenge.
Bring it back to me.
So I now made my way to North Bavaria and I will now go onto the cross-country road over Augsburg to Innsbruck in Austria. And I hope that on the cross-country road you can also see some gorgeous landscape. To be honest, it's really cold. I'm really freezing. Yesterday this was still like fun in the Harz National Park with snow and everything, but now it's kind of just a suffering through all the way to Italy, but that is fine because it will increasingly get warmer, I hope. So let's go.
Slow down, there's nothing to get you, can always turn it around. Oh, I shouldn't have met you, I only let you down. All night, in your bedroom, my thoughts were thinking loud. Oh, I shouldn't have met you, I shouldn't have left you.
After hundreds of kilometers in the cold, we finally managed to reach the Alps. We were really close to Austria. But before driving to Innsbruck, I wanted to have a look at two lakes. One of the lakes would be the Alp Lake. As you guys can see, we made it to the Alpsee. It's still overfrozen completely, but normally it's famous for its really clear water. It's really beautiful, and even though it's completely overfrozen, I think the view is still amazing. And by the way, behind me is the Zugspitze, which is the highest point in Germany, but it's not visible due to fog and we can't go up there because it's winter. I will now continue my way to Innsbruck. I think I will skip on the second lake because I'm really cold and want to get some food, and also my friend is waiting and me and her will go for dinner, so I'm looking forward to that, and we'll make the last few kilometers to Innsbruck now.
Slow down, there's nothing to get you, can always turn it around. Oh, I shouldn't have met you, I only let you down. All night, in your bedroom.
So I crashed for the night at a friend's place in a student housing facility and kind of had to hide a little bit because guests were not allowed there, but I made it through. Overall, I enjoyed my time in Innsbruck, and today was the day we will make it all the way to Italy. But before that, I wanted to have a look at a viewpoint over Innsbruck. You can see all the different mountains, and over there, the big mountain, I think that's the Zugspitze. So that should be still in Germany. Really beautiful. After taking a photo and doing some chain maintenance, we still had one big obstacle in our way on our way to Italy, and that was the snowy peaks of the Alps. After making my way across the Sella Joch, I was now surrounded by enormous rocks, and we were now properly in Italy. So I decided now we will make our way to the Gardasee over the Strada Provinciale 71. It's supposed to be a really good motorcycle route, and I'm pretty sure we will not make it to the Gardasee today, but probably to the amazing motorcycle route, and then we'll find shelter right after.
Messed up, you are. Got me singing like I'm Yoda. You is, we aren't good company to each other. Narrator of my dreams, make it make sense. On the outside, I don't seem like anything less. Will someone ever tag along for the ride? Will someone ever tag along for the ride?
This is the Strada Provinciale 71. It is exactly what every motorcycle rider dreams of. Beautiful mountain roads leading into the sunset along the mountain range. Absolutely incredible.
Calm as you are, we listen to your favorite tune in your car. Why try to change me now. Time base, but no time for us. No bitch, bad boys. Too scared to cut me down.
Like this, the first day in Italy came to an end with the goal of exploring the Garda Lake the next day. On this morning my mind arrived properly in Italy. The weather got incredibly warm, it was 15 degrees and I was able to ride without my winter underwear, and the surrounding mountains on our way to the Garda Lake looked amazing. This is the incredible Garda Lake. What a sight. Usually this road is super busy with caravans and convertibles, that's why we went over the Strada Provinciale 8 before, because it's a better motorcycle route, but going next to this lake with the motorcycle without any traffic was just absolutely incredible. It's the first time that I realized that Italy is an especially beautiful country. Apparently one link of the chain is not moving that well. I will try to clean it up really well, and we'll try to put as much oil on there as possibly helps, and then let's see how it continues. At this point the bike has been doing some kind of clicking noise, and I hoped it was because of the chain, because I felt like something was off, and because I have a €500 motorcycle that has already seen quite a lot, I was very worried that I will break down on a trip. Also I was scared of going to the mechanic because I didn't have the money to pay for any kind of repairs. Luckily the sound went away, so I started my way to Bologna. I was looking for accommodation after arriving in Bologna, but before going to a hostel my plan was to visit the Quadrilatero, and for that I made my way through the Italian city traffic. I am now at this enormous tower behind me. It's really similar to the big tower in Venice, and it's in the neighborhood that I wanted to look at, and it's really beautiful here. I'll show you a bit around and then get to a hostel outside of Bologna. The hostel search so far has been quite tough. I found multiple cheap ones, but every time when I arrive there's just no one, and no one at the reception, no one is answering the phone. Yeah, that is just weird. I'm trying the next one now. After a few more attempts, I made it to a farmhouse on the end of a gravel road outside of Bologna. It was cheap and relaxed and gave me room to relax for the next day to start my way to Tuscany. So as you guys can see, we're entering now the Toscana, which is so cool because the entrance into the Toscana is filled with bins that hide the sign, but I still managed to get a little recording in front of it. My first goal in Tuscany was San Gimignano, but to get there I had to get through the city traffic of Florence. After now having arrived in San Gimignano, I'll have a look at the city center and I will try to find some food as well. So I am now at Plaza di Cisterna. You can see the cistern behind me, and you can also see the towers that this town is famous for behind me. When getting back on the road, it was already getting dark again. This was one of the biggest drawbacks of making this trip in winter, that it was already getting dark at around 5 and I had to find a place to stay again. A few major roads were blocked, that's why I took a detour over some gravel roads through the mountains. It was incredibly beautiful, especially in the sunset. I found a very cheap hotel in this town for 20 bucks, but there was one problem. The traffic in this town was completely standing still, but luckily we are on a motorcycle. Our next goal in Tuscany was the small town with the name Siena. Siena is a really beautiful city with many little very narrow alleyways with this special medieval appeal. During the medieval ages, this has been one of the most important cities of Europe, and with its beautiful architecture is now part of the UNESCO World Heritage. As you can see here, this city is filled with very steep one-way streets and was actually quite challenging to navigate on the motorcycle, but at the same time quite fun. Sometimes I was unsure if I ended up in a pedestrian area and just turned around, but exploring the city on the bike was so beautiful. I found in Siena this super cool motorcycle parking lot that was super practical, and now I will show you the city. So we now had our look at Siena, and I will now make my way to the next supermarket to get myself some food for the rest of the day and organize myself. And then we will continue our trip to the Val d'Orgica. So we're now getting closer and closer to San Gregorio d'Orgica, which is supposed to be one of the most beautiful areas in Italy, and especially here in Tuscany, and you can already tell with all this amazing green landscape. Isn't this beautiful? So after now having had a look at this gorgeous landscape behind me, we will continue our way to the Banchi San Filippino, which is a natural pool that I'm curious about checking out. Sadly, I cannot go swimming there because with 12 degrees it's just too cold.
Hear you cry, love that pain in my heart. I need this fantasy, so I can recognize what's under my skin. I need this selfish.
So I now made my way to those natural pools, and let's have a look at them. Those hot steam pools are generated through volcanic activity. That's why the water seems so unclear and all the stones around it are so white. Originally, my plan was to go camping as soon as I'm more in the central of Italy, but I completely forgot that it will get dark very soon in the winter, so I still had to rely on hostels and hotels that were luckily quite cheap here, and also was still getting very cold, so I was glad about making this decision like that. The only problem was many hotels were closed and it was not advertised on Google or Booking.com, so it ended up with me going from one hotel to the next and to the next, and that sometimes ended up being quite annoying. As per usual, no luck at the first place. To be honest, this whole thing with getting rejected at hotels when you don't speak Italian or hotels being closed is really annoying. You will go to 3 to 4 hotels every time you need a place to stay. It's so annoying. Before finding a place to stay, my camera was sadly empty, but in the end it was all good. And we're back on the road. On this day it has gotten a lot colder. I had to put back on my winter underwear, and it was good that we didn't camp. And today the goal was to go to Abruzzo. This is a beautiful mountain range with the big mountain, the Monti Sibilli, which was our goal for the day. But on the way we still want to check out the Lago di Fiestra. So let's go. This is the beginning of the beautiful Abruzzo National Park. Driving through those green grass plains, I sadly heard again the clicking noise in the bike, and I was very sure that something was wrong with the bike and we would have to go to a mechanic soon. I was thinking that maybe my 500 euro motorcycle will give up on me on this trip. But for now, the Abruzzo National Park was already teasing us with some beautiful views of some amazing mountain peaks that I later wanted to go over. I was so excited. So you can see down there is the lake. Let's see how the lake is called. It's the Lago di Fiestra. It looks really beautiful. This is something that sometimes happens when you're on a motorcycle trip. You have a goal and you go there, you see the thing and just think, well, yeah, that's beautiful. But that's kind of it, and this is exactly what happened here for me. So, after now having seen this lake, I made a decision that we will now go up the Monti Sibilli, which is the mountain that this national park is named after. And that will be the last goal for the day, and then we will find a place to stay. And was seeing the first bits of snow in the middle of Italy.
Put me on the altar 'cause you can't be tamed. Silence underneath your flame. Cut the cords around me as I speak your name. It's never gonna be the same. Even though I loved you, it was all in vain. And now I gotta break away. Put me in the water, tell me I'm renamed. Higher self-reclaimed. I choose me, I choose me, I choose my body now.
This is the road along the highest peaks of the Monti Sibilli, which reach a height of 2,470 meters. It was incredibly cold, especially after the sun was gone, but the views were amazing, and driving next to the bits of snow was an incredible feeling. But I was quickly realizing it was getting way too cold on the mountain and was getting colder with every minute as the sun was gone, so I had to find a hostel quick, so I made my way down the mountain again. On my way down, I made an incredible discovery. I found multiple little ghost towns that have been left behind from an earthquake. I wanted to stop and explore, but I was just freezing too hard, so I had to keep going to find a warm place to stay. But still an incredibly eerie feeling to experience this. On the next day, I continued my way through the Abruzzo National Park, and we had some beautiful views ahead of us. though I was really enjoying this beautiful landscape, the bad noises of the bike were not possible to ignore anymore, so I had to find a garage soon. Only problem was everything was closing at 12 because there was a huge Christian holiday in Italy that I was not aware of, so I had to hurry to find a mechanic. So I made my way out of this beautiful mountain range to the closest town.
Car, no moto.
It's just a chain, la catena, because I just need the chain adjusted. It's like a 5-minute job. I'm missing the tools basically.
No moto. Motomania.
Motomania? Ah, okay. Is it still open? Because I'm trying to get it done before
Sì,
Sunday.
penso
One?
Ready.
Oh. So let's go to the other place real quick, so I can still get my chain adjusted before Sunday. Otherwise, we will not get it for some time. The motorcycle garage is this way, right?
If you come, I'll put you in the place. I'll put you in the place.
Okay.
With the stop.
Okay, I just follow you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Do you speak some English?
Poco.
I need my chain adjusted. It's a catena di tensione.
The problem is 1 o'clock close.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to find a place quick, because otherwise I'm stuck till Monday.
Okay. Su Maps.
Yeah.
Moto sprint. But 1 o'clock close.
It's the same situation. It's also
Okay.
So in the end we didn't find a mechanic store, which made me quite upset with myself, because I felt like it's my own fault because I was putting it back and in the end didn't look at the date. With this bad feeling, I decided to get onto the Autobahn and make my way to Rome in the hopes of still finding a Yamaha place that is open in Rome. When arriving at the outskirts of Rome, I had an amazing experience with the Yamaha dealership. They replaced my sprocket and my chain free of charge because they saw that I'm a student who was short on money and were really happy to see that I use my bike quite a lot. So that was definitely a very positive experience. So I made my way to spend the night in Rome. So I now made my way to my hotel, but the problem is it's one of those automated ones. I'm supposed to have room 7 and only goes up to room 6, as you can see, room 6, and I can't reach anyone from the reception, and this feels so dumb. I am stuck without a room and don't know what to do. I have booked a hostel and I've booked room 7 and there are only 6 rooms. Yeah. So now after 50 minutes looking in this building for my room, I finally found it. The thing is, it was on a different floor than in the description and the key was hidden on the different side than in the description, and it took a long time to figure that out. But I'm thankfully now in my room. In Rome, my goal was to have a look at the Colosseum because I had Latin in high school and on the book cover was a picture of the Colosseum, so I always wanted to see it in person in my teenage years.
Let your spirit rise. Let your spirit rise. Let your spirit rise.
So apparently in Rome currently is a huge marathon, as you can see behind me, and there's just no way of getting through to the Colosseum because there's a huge fence and no one is letting me through. I'm now stuck in this marathon and I cannot leave the marathon, and the security personnel doesn't let me through the fence. So the only way now is to walk to the end of the marathon, what the security personnel is telling me. I'm now against my will in a marathon in motorcycle gear. Finally managed to get out of the unvoluntary marathon. Lucky about that, and now we'll try to find my way into the Colosseum. It's a bit hard because due to the marathon a lot of things are blocked, and yeah.
We've come to free your mind. The key to live a life sublime. You give all you can give and live your life like it's a gift. If you wanna find your place, you got to leave your space.
So, I now made my way into the Colosseum. This is the look from here. It's quite incredible, and it lives up to the expectation that was set by my Latin classes in high school.
Yeah, and just let your spirit shine. Well, sometimes there ain't no easy way to say all the things that we need to say. And we spend so much time looking for the easy road when all we need.
So I'm now out of the Colosseum. It took forever. I was in there for like 2 hours. I sneaked in over a tour, and actually the tour was really boring. I was kind of really busy all the time, but I met some other Germans and I socialized for a bit, which was probably good for me. And now we'll get some food and then we will get on the road, because I can definitely recommend you, if you're on a trip like this with your motorcycle, skip the sightseeing. I did this now because I really wanted to see the Colosseum, and it was worth it for me because I had some personal connection to it due to my Latin classes. When leaving Rome, I was happy that I saw the Colosseum, but at the same time relieved to leave Rome's city traffic behind me on my way to the Amalfi Coast. Before making it over the Strada Provinciale 1 through the mountains to the Amalfi Coast, I needed to take care of myself and the bike. I really needed some food, and the Yamaha needed to get its oil topped up because the old engine was consuming quite a lot of oil. So, as you guys can tell, I now made it all the way to the Amalfi Coast, and this is the view. I absolutely underestimated the Amalfi Coast. This really looks like how everyone imagines Italy. It was incredibly beautiful, driving through the mountains next to the sea with all the beautiful little houses in the towns and the different terraces with the different trees growing on it. It was an incredible experience, and I just loved seeing the ocean right next to me. I was continuing my way down to the south of Italy until there was a sudden roadblock behind a turn that was quite hard to see, but everything was okay. So let's re-navigate. Oh, for fuck's sake, we have to turn all the way around. We cannot get through this. When driving back, I saw a little potential shortcut. So I took it and instantly realized that the road was going up quite steep through the vineyards of this part of Italy, and without proper tires my motorcycle really struggled with the incline. But nothing that couldn't have been fixed by more throttle, until I came to a very steep incline. I gave it a try, but I failed at it and I almost wiped out with the motorcycle. So I had to find another way. And I found one, and overall this was quite a nice little spontaneous adventure driving over the gravel roads through the mountains. Every steep hill must go down as well at some point, and we managed that fine, and we made it back to the road and avoided the blocked street. When I continued my way, I realized that being on the road for so long was taking its toll on me. At the same time, I was quite sad because at the time my channel was blowing up and getting lots of clicks, but due to technical difficulty at the time my YouTube channel didn't get into the YouTube partner program, so I kind of lost out on all of that. Speaking of that, if you enjoyed this video until now, please subscribe and leave a like and leave a comment. It helps a lot with the algorithm. And with this frustration in the situation, I decided that I will get on the highway and make my way to the final goal of the trip, Sicily, because this was the thing that I was truly looking forward to. So I now made it to a hotel. I'll get some food, work a bit on my laptop, and then go to bed early so I get my strength back for going then tomorrow to Sicily and having a look at Sicily. Oh no, my bike is completely boxed in. After thousands of kilometers, we were so close to the final goal of this trip. The bike held through amazing, even though it was a 500 euro motorcycle, and we made it from the cold winter of Germany all the way to the ferry that will take us to Sicily. So I'm now on the boat to Sicily. Over there behind me is already Sicily, and it's happening super quickly, like I didn't even got on deck and we're already moving. When arriving in Sicily, I instantly wanted to make my way to the Etna, the biggest volcano in Europe. That was my goal for the day. On the way, I already saw that Sicily is a very special place. All the buildings and the architecture looked beautiful, and I felt how it was going slowly up the mountain. Going up the Etna, I was instantly impressed by all the black volcano rock. It looked so incredibly beautiful. And it was just a taste of what was about to come. Wow! And the view down there. Crazy. You have to be a bit careful with the volcano ground because it's kind of like sand and it's spreading onto the road like here. I mean, just wow. Also with the ski lifts and everything.
Desert hills and lonely places, heavy still without your traces, holding on to every breath we wasted, tender for your soft embraces. Under the darkest sky and for you, don't wanna see the night fade to blue. Under the dark sky and for you, don't wanna see it red fade to blue. I wanna flow with you over holy water. I wanna crawl into all your secret corners.
The day in Sicily flew by super fast. The landscape went from the beautiful mountain ranges and volcano ground to beautiful green cactuses in an instant. And even after that, I could still surprise with the big, great green plains of Sicily. Oh, just look how many of those plants are here. Crazy. Also with this landscape in the distance. So, let's make our way to a place to stay for the night.
If I show up, will you show me around town? If I make you laugh, will you give me some time? 'Cause I know that a girl like you could be falling in love with just about anyone. All I want is just to know you. It's just to hang around, walk on the same ground. You remind me of the days gone by, of a real good love till you're left just in time. And if I show up, will you show me around town? Will you show me around town? If I make you laugh, will you give me some time?
So we have now arrived in Caltanissetta and we will now find a place to stay. As you can see between the houses, the sun is setting. The goal of the day was to make my way to Agrigente, the Valley of Temples, and have a look at the big architectural structures there, and later to make my way to the end of Sicily and have a look at the ocean. So I now made it to the archaeological site, and it's still about a 2-kilometer walk up the mountain that I now have in front of me. So what I'm about to show you guys is the Temple Valley of Agrigento, which is an old Greek town from roughly around 600 before Christ, from the first wave of Greek colonialism. So we are now at the Temple of Concordia, It is the best preserved Greek talon, also one of the best preserved from the Doric era. So, I now also came across this imposing statue that is fallen over. Also the fact that it's right in front of the temple. After having a look at this beautiful architecture, my plan was to make my way to the seaside. And the specific goal was the Scala dei Turchi. So, we made it finally to the big rock. Let's have a look at it. Looks gorgeous with the blue water. How amazing. So, we did it. This is our last stop here in Italy. And has been a great tour the last 14-15 days. And yeah, we made it. Also crazy, behind the horizon over there is Tunis on the African continent. Which kind of is cool because we are still in Europe and I'm still doing loads of videos in Europe, have many tours planned in Europe. But at some point we will leave Europe again. And my channel is at the moment still quite small. At the point of recording this, it's 5,090 subscribers and I'm still not monetized by YouTube. But many things are still to come. And that makes me happy, and I think that's kind of a nice symbolic picture, thinking about Tunis behind the horizon. So yeah, that was my tour to Italy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's get on the way back. So this is it. The 500 euro motorcycle made it again. Another successful trip. We made it all the way from Germany, all the way to the sea in Sicily. I still needed to catch the boat back on the same day, so I got on my way. All in all, I have to say I am very thankful for the support from the community of my YouTube channel and also for the support of my Patreons, which help make these trips possible. If you would like to support my work here on YouTube, feel free to check out the links in the description. I'm currently working on 2 other big films that will release in the future. If you want, you can definitely leave a comment on which motorcycle trip you would like to see next on this YouTube channel. Maybe I take that for inspiration. After hundreds of kilometers and throwing up quite heavily on the boat, it has gotten dark again. So I decided to drive through the night all the way through Bavaria and Germany. And I realized it was still winter. My helmet was freezing and I constantly had to wipe the ice off my helmet. But in the end, I made it all the way back home.